What's up, everybody? This is Davey from Vanna, and you are watching Wheeler's Weekend Jams live and direct.
Wheeler's Weekend Jams live and direct.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in on another lovely episode of Wheeler's Weekend Jams live and direct, live at Warped Tour this summer. And next to me is Davey from Vanna. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. How are you?
Fantastic. Hot, bro. Hot.
It's a hot one out here. They keep you on blacktop at all times.
Yeah.
But that's most of Warped Tour. It's hot.
It's summertime, man. How has this entire Warped Tour experience been going for you guys so far?
Really, really good. We just released a new record on this tour, so the response from that has been overwhelming. Just even being on Monster Stage again this year, except this year they split it into 2 stages, and when we found out they were like the size of main stages, we were like, that's so sick, and they were like, oh crap, we have to fill the size of a main stage with kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, can we do that? And then every day when I come around that corner, it's like, boom, it's just like a sea of people, and I'm like, why are you here? But it's sick, man. We love it. We love, it's like half the crowd almost every day is a first-time Vanna watcher. So it's like, that is so cool. You took time out of your day, out of all these amazing bands, and you want to check out our band today. So it's been overwhelming is the word I keep on using. It's been a lot of smiles, the summer of smiles for sure.
Yeah, I saw you guys a couple years back with Every Time I Die, and they're on the bill as well.
Yes.
So that's got to be some good friendship.
Oh yeah, we do. We've done Warped Tour 2 years in a row now. Every Time I Die. No, 3. No, 3 every other.
Yeah.
And doing that tour with them in 2013 was incredible. There's a lot of friendship out here.
Yeah.
We were saying, every band, the vibe this year backstage is incredible. Like, everyone just hanging out, everyone's having fun. There's no like drama, and of course it's like, as much as you want to say we're all adults, you pack, 1,000 egomaniacs into one area of each other, But you know what? Everything has been really cool. Bands are so cool. There's bands being cool to us that like we previously were like, oh, I would never talk to them. I don't think they like us. Yeah, it's been really cool. The vibe's been super on this year. So I'm excited to, I was excited to start this tour, and now it's like we're like way more than halfway over, and I'm like, oh man, this is like kind of happening too fast.
Time flies when you're having fun, man.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about your new record, All Hell. I was just wondering, what was the process going into the studio about this record, and what does this record mean to you personally?
I think that like the last record we put out called Void was the first time I really started talking about issues in my life that I dealt with growing up and in my early 20s, where there were actually real issues. I was like, decided to like kind of drop that cool guy facade and be like, actually, I've had a lot go on in my life. And I was really nervous to do that, and it was the first time I got to talk about, battling through depression, anxiety, suicide, like divorce, all that kind of stuff. And so that record was so big for us, with fans and even other bands saying how much they loved it, and the aspect of sharing our lives. So on this one, it was kind of like my whole goal going into this record was to write 10 anthems for people who have struggled with things just like I have, but have made it through and are now proud of the person that we are today. Yeah. Because I feel like so often we go through problems, and sometimes they were embarrassing or they're awkward. You don't want to talk about them. Yeah. And I think that we all need to own our stories and be who we are, because ultimately that's how we got here.
Yeah.
You were addicted to drugs, or you were whatever, a sexual deviant, or you're just a liar, or whatever your case. But you've worked out of that, and you're now this person. Be proud of the person that you used to be, because it made who you are today.
Exactly.
This record is 10 anthems for everyone who has seen the change in themselves and want to be proud of that change. Yeah. It's literally about the hell you've gone through to be the person you are.
Exactly. You climbed over the hill. Everybody does it, man.
Climb over the hill. Now be proud of you're there, but don't go down. Just keep climbing.
Exactly. And you guys are on Pure Noise Records. You guys signed in 2014. A lot of bands nowadays are on their own label, or they are on signed labels. How has your label been treating you guys, and what's your opinion on just being a label in general?
Pure Noise has literally taken this band. I did 2012 Warped Tour. with Jake from Pure Noise. Pure Noise was out, Vanna was out. I got to know Jake really well in 2012, to the point where it came down to do a new record. He was like, I want to do your next record. And there was no hesitation with our band. We were like, yes. Because what he is about, what his label is about, the creativity he lets you have, he lets you be an artist. He's an artist himself. It's important for someone who owns a label to be a musician, to understand he used to tour in a van. Like, he gets it. He gets the
Down by the river.
Exactly. Yeah, and so Jake understands what it takes, and he understands the creative process and artwork, and he lets us be us. But he's taken this band and put us in a direction that we needed to go in. And inside the label, it was sort of like we can't do the Vanna thing where we go, we'll sign to your label, you'll manage us or you'll book us, but we know what's best. Yeah. I'm like, well, these guys all have these jobs for a reason. Let's let them do their job. And I love Pure Noise Records. Pure Noise has the most bands out here on Warped Tour, other than like Epitaph Records. Oh wow! I mean, they're stacked. Their lineups are stacked out here. I think they have 6 or 7 bands out here. Yeah. And they're just doing it right, man. And we wouldn't want to be with anybody else. And going forward in the future, we are not going to be with anybody else. We're going to be back with Pure Noise again for another one. So.
Right on. And personally, what motivates you to keep writing and keep touring all these years?
For a while, my motivation was, I got to get out of my house. I got to get out of my home. I got to get out of my city. I was literally self-destructing. And music is the thing that helped me like gain my life back. And I'd always done music my whole entire life, but I went through a really rough time and I forgot about music, and it helped me gain my life back. Now my inspiration in touring and writing is sharing my life with these kids and hearing the stories of like, hey, you know, this Vanna song here helped me on this night when I was dealing with this, or this record came out right when I needed it, and the kids always say to us like, you know, your records, your music has saved my life, and my response is, you saved your own life. I'm just glad that we could be the soundtrack in the background to you and your victory. And that's what pushes us now, is kids' personal victories, changing their lives, even if it's just even like, you help me have a good night and get my studying done, whatever it may be, which Vanna usually doesn't help studying get done, it usually helps partying get done. But my inspiration now is listening to these kids' stories, and every day online, them telling us how much these lyrics mean to. That's me. That's pushing now. That pushes me to write more. That pushes me to be better, to book more shows, to play as much as we can, because we need it as much as the kids need it. And it's this partnership now. It's a give and take. So like, we all. It's
a give and remedy.
Oh my God! And like, as much as like these kids come to these shows and go, God, I need this show today. I've had the worst week, month, year, whatever. Same thing. We're backstage going, God, I need this show today. I got rent due at home. Yeah. I miss my wife. You know, my dog's sick. Whatever. Like, I'm having a bad whatever. So when we turn that corner, just know that when we come out there, we need you as much as you need us. It's a beautiful when it clicks, and it usually almost every single day just has this click, and you're like, I love my life. I love what I do, and I hope that they feel that.
We are just a reflection in the mirror.
Absolutely. They are the band. Yes. They got to know that they're in Vanna, not just us. You're in the band, so you decide how this show is going to go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, you could be the biggest rock star in the world. I'm very interested in who influences artists, just in general. But if you had to thank one person in your life, or somebody that you looked up to, anybody that you want to thank for getting you into music and for who you are today.
I have to. It would literally be. It sounds cheesy. It had to be a combo deal of my mom and my stepdad, because my mother was the one that drove me to shows, drove me to Warped Tour every year since I was 12 years old, let me bleach my hair, just let me just wear band t-shirts, and had me buy CDs. And my stepfather was my drum teacher before my parents were married. That's how they met. I took drum lessons from him, and he was in the industry, and he introduced me to bands everywhere and showed me. He was the one who showed me like punk rock and ska and metal and hardcore. My parents, without them, also shout out for them letting me sleep on the couch a bunch and move back into my old room for a little while I was touring. They are literally the ones that pushed me musically. My mother's a singer, and the reason why I grew up on music is because I would be listening to all of her old, Police, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd records, and that's what got me into it. So no surprise that she had a son that became a musician. And then my stepfather came in when I was about 15 years old and just pushed it all the way. Wow. So shout out to my parents, they're the real heroes.
That's awesome. Shout out to the folks.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Well, I have one more question for you. I ask every band this. I'm a huge movie buff, and I always say that without the music, the soundtrack to a movie, there's no substance. The music is everything, you know, music in all directions. And if you had to compare your band to a movie, what movie would it be and why?
Wow. Oh my God, mind blown. I thought you were gonna say what's your favorite score or what's your favorite. I was starting to compare things.
Anything by John Williams or John Carpenter, but
you know, dude, I don't know. Our music, much like a soundtrack or a score, has a lot of like ups and downs and waves. I feel like at times we're like an 80s John Hughes movie sometimes, but then also sometimes I feel like we're like maybe a Quentin Tarantino weird, like violent kind of blood squirting flick. I don't know, man. I think we're like a movie marathon of like a lot of movies.
16 Candles to Dusk Till Dawn,
yeah, 16 Candles,
to Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, 16 Candles meets like Death Proof, meets like, I don't know, like Lord of the Rings sometimes maybe, meets like anything with Denzel Washington in it. Training Day. No, Vanna's Training Day.
Training Day. Hell yeah.
Heavy movie, man.
It is.
Training Day.
My brother.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, if there's anything you want to say out there to the fans.
Thank you for taking your time out in this heat.
Hey, I enjoy this, man. I'm also a drummer too, and I do this. I do both, man. I know it, man. I know it. So
everybody out there, man, I want to say go buy our record. Go buy any band's record. Every band, there's like 12 bands on Warped Tour that has their record being released on this tour. There's so many bands releasing music. Don't just stream it. Streaming's good. Apple Music, Spotify, we love
physical copy.
Buy a physical copy. And if you can't buy it on iTunes, and because when you're buying a band CD, it's like $9 on iTunes. It's like 2 lattes at Starbucks. Make some coffee at home and support your favorite music, because though we're not going to make any money off of it, if you buy your band's records, their touring options get bigger. So essentially, buy our record if you want us to come to your town, because we want to come there. You just got to buy the record.
You hear that, Gunther? That's right. You hear that? Awesome, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you doing this interview again, man. Everybody, thank you for tuning in on this lovely episode. Check out our website at WheelersWeekendJams.com and support us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/WWJ. Thanks again, man.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys.